to be out playing on the road instead of staying home where I belong. You might think that it ain't right to be out driving half the night. No, it ain't right. It ain't even wrong. It's resurrection. That's the name of the song, resurrection. But I've been down so long, I don't know where I'm going, ain't got no direction. Resurrection, resurrection. What's in my heart is in my soul, is in a day-old donut hole eaten by an off-duty cop in San Francisco. The nights are getting colder, but there's an angel on my shoulder. Somehow she always gets me to the next show. Resurrection, resurrection. That's the name of the song, resurrection, resurrection. But I've been down so long, don't know where I'm going, ain't got no direction. Resurrection, resurrection, resurrection. Do you know the Becker man? Resurrection, you can make it, baby. Resurrection, we're with you, sonny boy. Resurrection, we're all of us together. Resurrection, resurrection.
Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, the world is not your apocalypse, and you are no saviors, and peace is not a bargaining chip. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, missiles are not golf clubs or basketballs. And Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, murder by missiles is a crime against humanity. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, there's a war going on. Mr. President and Mr. Chairman, the ghosts of Hiroshima are asking after you. Rest assured, this is not fake news. Oh no, these are not alternative facts. They know all about fire and fury. They know all about ash and bones. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, the world is not your apocalypse. You are no saviors, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President. This is the fight. There's a war going on. And the faster it goes, the slower it gets. The less I remember, the more I forget. They bind you to meanings, they tie you to wheels. They blow out your senses till you don't know what to feel. Where are the stories? Where are the songs? And where is the love we've always longed? And where is the truth? By what law shall we live? And the how shall we take? And what shall we give? And we who are exiles, we who are swarm, this is the fight. This is the war. This is what we're all here for. No, 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 no. No. No fake news here.
.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. That's brand new music. I have Justin Guip on the phone, and I'm going to get him on the phone right now. Justin?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. We are sounding good here. Just doing a quick sound check while you and I are on air, live on air. Thanks so much for being here today. I know the world is a crazy place, and really appreciate you taking the time to just chill out and talk some music and maybe a little diversion for the next 40 minutes or so. So
Sure.
Yeah, Justin.
As everybody says, we've got time.
You know, I mean, how much time can you spend on social media and stuff? It's just good to get a diversion, you know. I've been doing a lot more walking, I have to tell you, and I noticed that people are out walking, you know, their dogs or whatever, but just, I don't know, just notice more people outside, and thankfully we can all do that. But thank you for being here. Justin,
you're welcome.
Justin Guip.
I was thinking we could post, the push-up challenge. We could just take selfies of us doing push-ups.
Great idea. Great idea. Love that idea. Justin, you're a 3-time Grammy winner. You worked with Levon Helm for about 8 years. You were a huge part of the Midnight Rambles at the barn, as we call it, knowingly and lovingly. And let's just talk about your love for music. You're a phenomenal drummer. Love seeing you with Jack and Yorma. And let's go back in time a little bit. Start your musical journey with me. What made you start playing drums, and what age were you?
George Mitchell. He was in my sister Kira's class, my eldest sister's class. He was a drummer. He lived down the road from us, like 3 blocks, and he played in the school band, but I used to be able to hear his drum set from my house, and I'd ride my bike down and sit out front of his window. And his name's George Mitchell, and I used to call on break. I'd be like, George! and he'd open up the window, and he'd go, hey, Justin, and he'd invite me up, and here he had this aqua blue Premier drum set. And I used to watch him play, and I just got excited about the drums, and he'd let me sit at the kit, and then he started showing me stuff.
Oh, man, nice. Now, where'd you grow up?
I was Swickley, Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Right outside of Pittsburgh. It's about 15 miles west of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that started your love for drums. Did you play, like, in the school band and stuff?
Yeah, I did pep band, marching band, and then I did the symphony band, and then the private schools would hire me to play in their ensembles and their school shows because they didn't have any musicians. So I would get to leave school and get paid to go play at the private school and play their plays and their performances.
I love it. As a teenager. As a teenager. That's awesome. As a
teenager.
Right.
And my band director would hire me to do polka gigs on the weekends. He played accordion, so it was accordion and drums, and we would just play on various weekends. So it was a lot of fun. But I always had a band in the basement. I mean, we were always jamming in the basement. And then I got into recording with a reel-to-reel and of course cassette recording. That moved into 4-track recording, and I've always had a love for capturing music and production. But I've been a drummer for, forever.
Right.
And then I got into, the recording side of things, being in a band and wanting to record your band, and no one ever had money, so I invested in early Pro Tools digital rig, and bought some mics and mic pre's, and then taught myself how to record, and started reading and talking to everybody, and just, of course, being in bands and making records and being in the studio, you could learn a lot then, and so then started the recording career.
Right. Hands-on experience, man. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
What brought you to New York?
I came to Manhattan. I left Boston. Well, I went to school. I did a year of music school in Maine and met with an agent, and that took me to Vermont, Burlington, Vermont. My first night in Burlington was, I walked into Nectar's and Fish was playing.
Oh, my God.
And I met the door guys who were looking for a roommate, so I became roommates with the door guys at Nectar's. So that automatically meant I get to go to Nectar's and watch bands. So I
love it.
Started playing music in Vermont, got into that whole scene, and then a band I worked with called The Cuts in Vermont, we moved to Boston to make a record with a producer for a year, and then my sister Amy, my middle sister, called me and said, I have an apartment opening up in Manhattan. And it was a deal I couldn't refuse, so I dropped everything and moved to Manhattan, and that brought me to New York.
Right.
And I lived in New York, did the band scene there, did live sound at Brownies, worked at Sterling Sound.
Yeah, and that's
mastering studio.
Yeah, that's a renowned place there, Sterling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got more into the recording aspect of things, and then on nights and weekends doing the band, playing in bands and trying to get the quote unquote record deal.
Right. Which
so that brought me to Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then weekending, my sister had a place up in Dutchess County here, and my wife and I would drive up on the weekends, and we just fell in love with Dutchess County and ended up buying a weekend place up here, and would come up every weekend, work on the house, do our laundry. We had dogs, and then when Angus was born, my first kid, we moved up here full time, and I used to commute to the city for 4 years on Amtrak down to Sterling from Dutchess County.
Wow, yeah, that's a
9/11, 9/11 hit, and that changed everything. And then I ended up staying up here full time, and then that's where I met Levon, and then that brought me into the barn and started that whole career, which was a huge part of my life. Blessings to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
so many people that are worked with Levon say those last 10 years were like the best musical years they've ever experienced.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy because, being there, and then, I met Larry there, and then in walks Brian Mitchell, and Brian Mitchell played at my sister's wedding.
Oh,
and
my
I'm like,
God.
Brian, what are you doing here? And then all these people from Manhattan started coming up that I had met in the city, and then it just became a big family. And that's what was so nice about that whole experience, was the music community for Woodstock. It's just incredible. It's one big family.
Absolutely.
Everybody works with everybody, and we all share, and that's what it's about.
Is it true that you never missed one ramble?
No, I've never missed a show.
Wow.
I never missed one ramble. Worked every show.
Wow. You worked, or not only did you work, you also sometimes sat right next to the man himself, Levon, to play.
Well, I would double drum.
Yeah.
And it was Larry Campbell who I would sound check with Larry. And when I worked there, I was in there as an engineer and doing production, and I wasn't going, hey man, I play drums too, check this out. But I would jam with Larry at sound check, and he was talking with my wife Mary, and it was my birthday, and they were like, hey, why don't we get Justin to sit in when Levon plays? It'd be a cool birthday thing.
Yeah.
And then that's when I got introduced to the kit at the Ramble. and kind of people were like, "Hey, man, he could play," you know. And then it's just grown ever since. But Larry was kind of the instigator of pulling me out of my shell there.
Yeah, not just putting you on the board.
Yeah, I kind of stopped being in bands, and I said, you know, I'm really going to focus on getting into an engineer and a production and mix career, and you know, running the Rambles and the production. But one of my all-time highs was New Year's Eve, played the whole set double drumming with Levon.
Wow.
And that was just, you know, we would just look at each other and laugh and smile, and the feeling of that was outstanding.
There's probably no words
from him as a player.
There's probably no words that to describe that. I've seen you play with Levon. I was there at those early Rambles, and I saw you play, and just the love on everybody's face, because first of all, I love the way they had the drums set up. It was on the side. You know, so many times you see a band set up and the drummer's in the back. And at the Rambles, it was always you guys were side by side on the side, you know, so Levon could look out on the whole band, the horn section, Brian Mitchell over there, you know, the whole thing. And it was just, you guys always just all looked so happy to be there. You know, it didn't look like work, put it that way.
Right. Well, from Levon's perspective, he was in a great directing position.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he could see the piano, he could see the horns, he could look across the whole band landscape. No one has to turn all the way around to look behind. So, and that was kind of set up with the band as well. He was off to the side, and Garth was in the middle, you know, and so we maintained that setup, and then when the double drums started happening, it was just fun. So it was great for any of the opening artists that were there. Their drummer would sit in, you know,
right,
and everybody could drop in with these sit-ins. So it wasn't towards like really the last couple of years that we were getting the double kit set up, when he was having some experiences with the COPD issues that he had, and you know, breathing,
right,
that he wanted a little extra backbeat.
Yep. Now you've done literally hundreds of Rambles, really, so many. Do any stand out, like that you think of, like, wow, that one was like crazy good, or I'd never played with that person before? And any guests in particular that stand out?
Alan Toussaint.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that whole thing when Elvis Costello and Alan came up, that was huge. And we recorded those. I mean, those were on one of the records. They were all, I mean, God, they were all Emmylou Harris, you know, when Steve Earle would sit in. My gosh, I mean, there were so many. And then, of course, the record that we did there with the Black Crowes.
Yeah. Ooh.
That kind of set a mark of what we always wanted to do at the studio, was make it a live,
right,
performance recording situation where a band can come in and make a record in front of their audience, and the audience can experience it,
mm-hmm,
sit in the band's lap and experience them making a record. If they screw up at the top, hey, let's stop, you know, let's start over again. And there's something endearing about seeing a band walk through those moments, and it lets the audience into their world a little more, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
But those Black Crow shows were really, really special.
Oh.
And the list goes on. I mean, Los Lobos, you know, the last shows there with Los Lobos.
Yeah. And Ramble at the Ryman, you guys took it on the road to the beautiful Ryman Auditorium in Nashville.
Yes, tremendous.
Yeah.
Made a record out of that. That came out great. It was a big production. And, Billy Bob Thornton. You know, I just finished watching Sling Blade, and I could not help but just, like, to see him walk through the door and just see this totally different character being a musician. When he walked in the door, he wasn't the actor. He was a musician like us, you know?
Right.
But... and just some of a lot of the other actors that came through there due to Levon's acting career was tremendous.
Yeah, I bet. You guys also, after Levon passed in 2012, there was a huge concert for him. Talk about that and how you also recorded that, the love for Levon.
That was that was kind of out of our hands. That was Don Waz and his whole production company decided to throw that. And that was a tough time because the staff was all over the place. Everybody was in different bands. I was in Amy's band at the time and Larry's band. The Dirt Farmer band was performing. And then here we are to throw this huge production. So it was monumental for us to throw the rehearsals at the barn and then put on this big show. So what did we do? Like 3 days rehearsal at the barn, and then we did the big show, you know.
Right.
And we had to do Imus, and the Dirt Farmer band had to do Imus in the morning at like 5:00 a.m. And then I think the following day we rolled in and did that show. But the list of people that came to that was amazing.
It was.
But one pretty cool memory was being a huge Pink Floyd fan and getting to before Kenny Aronoff, who was the drummer for that gig. I double drummed with him, and I was filling in for Kenny, and I got to play with Roger Waters. But seeing him in the barn and then watching, sound checking him and getting him warmed up, but then all of a sudden when he does that Roger Waters kind of scream thing, you're hearing the legend in there, as many as all the other legends that have been in there. But that was pretty chilling to hear him do, what did he do, Wide River to Cross, and Amy and him sang that beautifully together.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. And you knew how heavy that was.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a DVD out on that for a Love for Levon concert that was done. I know it to be the Brendan Byrne Arena. I don't know what corporate name they call it now, but yeah, that was something. And just in case people are just tuning in right now, I just want to say you are tuned into LocalMotion. I have guest Justin Guip on the phone with me right here. Let's talk about those Grammys and Levon's comeback those last 10 years. Tell me about all three that you won and how much, oh my God, never forget his face when he first came back after winning a Grammy, and just talk about that stuff. That was great.
I don't even know where to begin. It was
what albums? Talk about the albums.
The Dirt Farmer album was it was his comeback, but it was just a lot of time of us being in there trying to capture the moment, them picking the songs, and Larry and Amy producing and trying to get the magic, get him to happen. So there were a lot of times that he didn't show up, actually, because we would be there, and he used to come in to do vocals and be like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go and see Mama for a second. I'll be right back. And then 2 days later, he'd come back to do the vocals.
Oh, man.
But Larry made a good point, and because it took a while to make those records, and you get frustrated being like, okay, we're hanging out a lot. But Larry made a good point. He was like, back when they made those records, they would hang out a lot and wait till you capture those moments.
Right.
You can't force that type of creativity. So that's what we did. We got together on all our downtime and weekends, and we captured those moments. And it was a struggle for me to kind of figure out how I was going to make it sound. And my approach was to make it sound as raw and natural as possible, because the last thing you want Levon's comeback record is to sound like some compressed, polished.
Yeah. Overproduced. Yeah. No.
Overproduced, so we just kept it really raw. Yeah. And I think that spoke. I think that impacted people because it was really raw, him coming back. I mean, you could hear the back of his throat. We recorded all the instruments with room mics, so you could hear the barn ambience in the room,
Yep.
And then it was sort of the same approach with the next record, Electric Dirt. Again, same thing. Between touring, between rambles, we would do our days off. We would go in and cut tracks, and This one was a little more produced because there were more horns and we had more guests on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the same approach, tried to keep it one step up from it being as organic and raw as possible. And then the Ryman is the Ryman. It's a produced event out of the Church of Nashville,
Right.
the Holy Grail performance
Yep.
space of Nashville, which was magical, and all the special guests on that
Right.
was tremendous. And we've had a tremendous crew, you know.
Right. Right. And 3 Grammys later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember leaving the grocery store, and Barbara O'Brien called me and was like, "You won your 3rd Grammy."
Amazing.
I just had to laugh because you're not thinking about trying to win awards. You're not thinking about Grammys and all that stuff. You're just really trying to make the best music you can and be true to the music. And I think that spoke, you know?
Right. Oh, it absolutely did. It absolutely did. Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. You guys put your heart and soul into those years with Levon, and it all came shining through. And there's so many great memories for all of us as sitting in the audience, as well as, of course, you guys as performers and family. It was obvious that we were in someone's living room and not just going to some venue. But it just, and still, of course, still has that appeal as well. It's still, as Levon says, keep it going. And it's still going. So it's a pretty cool thing that you guys started, and you were part of it for all those years. Also want to talk about you again as a musician with now Hot Tuna. Talk about how that came about.
Wow. Boy, you're...
Yeah, we got a lot to cover. You got a nice career going on, Justin.
Okay, we'll go there. Larry was producing River of Time, a solo record for Yorma, which we did at the barn, and I engineered that, and I drummed on like 3 songs on that, and that was my introduction to Yorma. And then we did a Hot Tuna record after that, Steady As She Goes, and that was my introduction to Jack and Yorma and Hot Tuna. Scooter Warner was on drums. Larry was producing that. I engineered, mixed that one. And then I guess they were looking for a drummer at some point. So I'd already been in and worked with those guys, and Larry was done some electric gigs with the Electric Hot Tuna and said, "Why don't you, what about Justin, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
So they asked if I would want to do some shows with them. So they sent me, was it like 48 songs?
Wow.
To learn, and no rehearsals. First gig at the Capitol Theater.
Whoa. And what year was this, Justin?
This was like 5.5 years ago.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We did one small rehearsal in my living room. Tour bus parked down there. Came up. Played like not even an hour, and then Capitol Theater. I was about to throw up. I was so nervous, and so we did 7 dates, kind of as a trial run, and it went really well. And they asked if I wanted to drum with them, and it's been a growing family ever since. And it's been a tremendous experience musically to play with Jack and Yorma, because it's all over musically. We can go from folk to psychedelic rock to heavy blues, which almost becomes metal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And with the rock densities, with Marshall guitars, and we've even stepped into the lines of some punk.
Love it. Love it.
Honored to
Yeah.
play with those guys. I mean, tremendous. In fact, Jack just texted me. Everybody's asking how we're doing. This is so crazy.
Right.
It's so funny that you asked me about Hot Tuna and Jack's just
Texting. Maybe he's tuned in.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, could be online, you know. Oh, well,
So,
greetings to Jack.
And that
Go ahead.
led to another Yorma solo record. And we did that at his Fur Peace Ranch. I took a mobile recording rig down there, and I played on that whole thing. And then finished it up in my new studio, which I just built. So he was the first session that I cut some additional drums on in the new studio.
Awesome.
And then we've been out playing ever since.
Awesome.
So we'll see what happens. We're scheduled to do Lock-In in June, but something tells me that might get postponed. And then we have a tour scheduled in June.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know if anybody's going to be touring then.
Right.
But we can only hope.
Right.
See what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah. It's a crazy time for
Journey
sure.
into the hot tuna world.
Yeah.
Much love and respect to those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Love them. Love them. So, yeah. And so you have this amazing recording studio. You know, my show is all about local music. I have played some of the music that you recorded. I know you have a great professional relationship with Ian Flanagan, who I just adore, him and Ayla. And yeah, what a talent he is. And I know he recently recorded with you. And I think he produced them?
Yeah, we played and produced. We did 6 songs. We did a 6-song EP.
Yeah.
And then he sold everything, got an RV,
Yeah.
and is driving all over the country performing.
Mm-hmm.
Because agents want to see dates under your belt. And he's like, I just want to go out and play everywhere and meet as many people as I can and perform. And he's got a little recording studio. He's towing a car. It's amazing. I mean, he is so dedicated, and he's got such a tremendous voice and a soulful voice. He's an incredible guitar player, and it was an honor to work with him. And I hope we're scheduled to do another record together at some point. But he's just going to go out and write and experience the road and meet people and. So let's hope we can get together again and perform, which would be great.
There are not many people. I know dedicated people, but he's just on the top of that list of dedication and wanting to do this for a living and really getting his name out there. He's really I was blown away by him. I think his first album or something like that. I had him in. I think I've had him in like 3 times, and he's just
great.
Such a beautiful voice. Such a beautiful voice. Let's talk about Mylan Hill. This is your personal recording studio. You're sitting at the helm of it, and tell me about it. It's kind of a cool thing that you have going on there. You're working with Larry and Teresa. You produced and you recorded their debut album. Of course, they're known as the first couple of Americana. You've worked now with Yorma there as well. Tell me about some of the artists and what you got going on at Mylan Hill Studio.
Well, I've always wanted to have my own shop, and I decided to leave Levon's after he'd passed, and we moved our kids into a better school district, and this house came on the market, and it had a barn on it, and the barn needed work. And I'm like, okay, we lucked out. The first person that looked at our old house bought it, and we got an accepted offer on the house here. So we had a dual closing, and we moved into the new spot, and I built the studio, which is like 50 paces from my house.
Nice.
And I wanted a place that I could not be under the radar, be under my own creativity and my own time, and be able to be flexible with artists, which is kind of like a staple in recording now. Everybody's got their own spot. You know, the big studios are hard because they're expensive and there's no budgets anymore. I love working at Paul. You know, if I need a bigger room, I'll go over to the Clubhouse recording, Paul Antonel's place in Rhinebeck. Right. But yeah, I built what I call my shop here. It's on Mylan Hill Road, and I'm up on a hill, so I named it Mylan Hill Studio. And yeah, my gosh, we did David Bromberg's record here. I've done Larry and Teresa's record here. I'm doing all my own projects here, and the Stray Birds records. My gosh, there's a list of them. But
and Justin, so you're a recording engineer and you can mix as well, right? So you're like one-stop shop.
Yeah, I mix everything I record. I don't master, but I'll record and mix and then hand it off to someone else for that final balance and check on EQ and level and preparation for, you know, the world, basically.
Right.
But yeah, we've got a tremendous microphone collection here. It's not a huge place, but we get great tones, and everybody who works here is really comfortable.
Right. Right. And that's the name of the game, is getting people comfortable, because when you're recording, right, that's what you want. You want them to be relaxed and enjoying where they are. So it's exactly what you want to do.
It's got to be pro too. It's clean, and we've got a lounge. We got just put in a kitchen, and it's great. But the control room sounds awesome. We've got a huge drum collection, B3 organ, and a piano, and it's great.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
No, it's fun. And people can contact you too if there's musicians that are listening and they're looking for a recording studio. You're available. And where do they find you? What's your website?
Justin at justinguip.com. Mm-hmm. I haven't even updated that in a long time, but people could reach out to me at justinguip.com.
And that's GUIP.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really open as a commercial place. It's more of my own private place, and I'm pretty selective with my timeline and who I work with.
Right.
And now that there's not going to be a lot of touring for a while, I'm working on a couple projects that I'm really excited about, and I can start composing some of this music that I've been writing, and I could start to do my thing.
Nice.
I've spent so many years helping other people with their records, and now I can finally kind of get down and do my own thing, which is cool. So there's a couple things cooking. I think one song I sent you is There's a War Going On. That's a spoken word record that I produced, and we did the music with him. Josh Kahlo is a guitar player in the area here.
He's fantastic.
Music space. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Worked with my son for, 9 years? But we just fell in love with each other's playing, and we would I would host these jam sessions, and I would record these jams. Everything we would play would be recorded, and then I can go in on those and edit and farm all this material, and I managed to make a record that a songwriter I work with asked if I would produce his spoken word record. So I put all this music together for that. And one of those songs I sent you is called There's a War Going On.
And we just played that before we started talking. I also played Resurrection. So talk about both of those songs.
That's the Kinky Friedman record.
Yeah, that's what we started off with.
That one. Oh, great. Yeah, we did that here. That's an amazing record. Larry produced it. We got Denny McDermott on drums. We got Lincoln Schleifer on bass.
Nice.
Larry's playing every stringed instrument known to man. And we got the Kinkster singing, and I'm really proud of that. That came out. We all did that top to bottom here. And guest vocaling on that is Willie Nelson.
Oh, my God.
And that's the first single that came out on that record.
Oh my God. That is a really good one. Yeah. Wow. Awesome. Yeah. So when you and I are done talking, I'm going to play the Ian Flanagan tracks. I'm going to play Both They Are Two, and play some more of the music that you recorded up at Milan Hill outside of Rhinebeck, or just Rhinebeck, Milan, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Right outside of Red Hook.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in the farming hamlet of Milan, New York.
By the fork in the road. Right? Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I used to live right there back in the 80s or something, right by the fork there, one of those apartments. And
Did you go to Bard?
I went to Red Hook High School. I grew up in Tivoli, and went to Red Hook High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
that's where we moved to get the kids into the Red Hook School District.
Great school district. Yeah, really. Always has been, and it's still considered one of the best in the state, the Red Hook School District. So, good place to be.
So you're a local.
I am a local. I'm a Tivolian, man. And I grew up in the 70s in Tivoli, and boy, do I have stories, but we'll talk about them next time for sure. Tivoli was...
about that off the phone.
Yeah, exactly. There was some, Tivoli, I tell you. But it was a great place to grow up, and I wouldn't have want to grow up anywhere else. Tivoli, New York was so cool in the 70s, and it was good times in Red Hook. It's great. Northern Dutchess I consider home. Absolutely, and it's such a good place. Justin, please keep me posted when you have music coming out. Send it my way. Would love to get it on air. You know,
Great. I just sent you a track by this project that I'm doing, and I'll let you play it. It's with Rob Ikes and Trey Hensley. They're a Nashville duo that opened up for Hot Tuna on a summer tour we just did. And we did they were touring through here, and they had a night off. I said, why don't you come by the studio? And I invited Jesse Murphy over to play bass, and we did a jam. And just from having fun, we captured 4 great tracks. Started a record.
That's the way to do it. Just love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, we'll play that next. That's Going Down the Road Feeling Bad, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just all live right off the floor in the room here, and I just spun that out for you to play. So
perfect. Yeah, that's definitely what we'll do. I just want to quickly end and just send our love out to everyone right now, but also a dear friend of yours, which was made public yesterday from Teresa, that Larry has COVID-19, and yeah, and I know what he means to you and what you mean to him, and just big love out to Larry. And please let him know when you do talk to him how many people are out there sending him love and prayers, and if you pray, if that's what your thing is. But we're all pulling for him and for everyone that's affected by this insane time that this planet is living through. So we're all affected, and Larry is just so loved and beloved by everybody. So
yeah, we love that guy. He's gonna beat this. He's an iron dude. He's gonna kick it.
Absolutely,
it's hit him really, really hard, but he's pulling through. So our hearts and love go out to that guy.
Absolutely. And Justin, to you and yours, stay healthy, stay safe. It's been always a pleasure seeing you. I saw you at the Falcon a couple of weeks ago with Jesse Murphy. Always a good time. Yes. And we'll see you around the bend. Stay safe and keep sending me music, man, because it's some good stuff you got sending my way.
I'd love to. I've got so much going on here. I'm excited to start releasing it. I've got the time to do it, so we're going to do it. And Rita, thank you for having me on, and always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Justin. I'll talk to you soon. Love you too.
All
you
right.
take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye. 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. That's 447. That was Justin Guip from Mylan Hill Studio, drummer extraordinaire, 3-time Grammy winner. Let's take a listen to what he just talked about. Going Down the Road, Feeling Bad. 91.3 WVKR.
this away.
Darling, don't you know by now you built the home out of this old house? Any four walls and a roof above can block the rain, but only you bring the sun. Bring it on home to me. I'll give you all of my love, all my love. Every day, every day, every day. Anyway you want. Your body feels tired and weak, from your head down to the soul. soles of your feet. Don't let this world get you down onto your knees. Pick up your heavy house, bring it on home. Bring it home to me. Bring it on home to me. I'll give you all of my love, all my love. Every day, every day, every day, any way you want. I'll give you all of my love, my love, my love. Every day, every day, every day, any way you want. Any way you want it now. 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 Bring it on home to me. Bring it on home to me. Any way you want it now. Any way you want it now. Any way you want it now. Bring it on home to me.
91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York, 457. The incredibly talented Ian Flanagan, Bring It On Home. That was recorded at Justin Guip's Milan Hill Recording Studio in Milan, New York, just outside of Rhinebeck, Red Hook, up in northern Dutchess area. Thank you to Justin for spending the hour with me, the 40 minutes, whatever it was. If you missed part of our interview or want to go back and hear it again, I'll be uploading it this evening on Mixcloud and mixcloud.com, and as well, all the interviews are also posted on the LocalMotion Facebook page, so you can always tune in then. Great time talking with Justin. Great music. We also heard a track that he literally just finished and sent to us that was Going Down the Road, Feeling Bad. And then, of course, some Ian Flanagan. We heard Kinky Friedman earlier, and Terry MacArthur, which is somebody he was working with from Australia. So a wonderful hour about Justin Guip, his music, his studio, his musicianship, and just all around great guy. We're going to start, and we're here for one more hour. Local Motion airs each and every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. If it's your first time tuning into the show, this show is all about music of the Hudson Valley, musicians that live here, those that come to play in our venues, as well as those coming to record in our area recording studios. So, show number 226 for me on these airwaves today. We're going to keep the music going for the next hour about some great musicians. I wish I could say, normally what I do, I play music where people will be performing out this weekend, and, I play a track of theirs and say where they're playing. Unfortunately, none of these musicians are going to be performing anytime soon because of what we're going through. I ask if you are able to perhaps pick one or two of them, go to their websites, maybe buy merchandise or buy their music, just to keep the music alive, because it's a tough time for artists and musicians right now. It's a tough time for everyone. Let's not underplay it at all. It's a tough time for everyone, and especially those that depend on touring and selling merchandise for income. So again, if you find it that you're able to and you're able to help, I think every little bit helps. I'm going to start off right now. We're going to start in the top of the hour here at 5 o'clock. stupendous band. I love these guys. Let's take a listen to Lost Leaders, 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie.
Lights come on, it's a new dawn. Come on, someone give me a name. If you prefer a him or a her, just give the word okay. Now it's time to say hi to you AI guy. I'm not shy, I'm just dry as a bone. But soon you'll find, like a child's mind, I'm designed to grow. I will fulfill for you whatever you want me to do. I will for you. Be still, my will for you. Make your dreams come true. I will for you. Take a vacay with your bae, couple of days, okay, I got your back. It's no problem, brother, got your job covered, it's a snap. Oh, I went online, blew my mind, it's like I was blind. Now I find I can see too much, what a rush. I'm opened up, I'm free. I will fulfill for you whatever you want me to do. I will for you. Be still, my will for you. Make your dreams come true. I will for you. Human history is a pisser to me. I can really see why it took you so long. Never fear, it's clear why I'm here. I won't steer you wrong. Make your dreams come true. Make your dreams come true. I will fulfill for you whatever you want me to do. I will for you. Be still, my will for you. Make your dreams come true. I will for you. Make your dreams come true. Make your dreams come true. Make your dreams come true.
It doesn't hurt me. Do you wanna feel how it feels? Do you wanna know that it doesn't hurt me? Do you wanna hear about the deal that I'm making? Shoo, shoo. If only I could, I'd make a deal with God, and I'd get him to swap out places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. See, if only I could. You don't wanna hurt me. it lies. I know where I'm tearing you asunder. There is thunder in our hearts. There's so much hate for the ones we love. And tell me we both matter, don't we? Shoot me. It's you me. You won't be unhappy. If only I could, I'd make a deal with God. I'd get him to swap our places. Be running up that road, be running up that hill, be running up that building. Say if only I could. It's you. It's you, me, you won't be unhappy. Come on, baby, come on, darling. Let me steal this moment from you now. Come on, angel, come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience. Come on, baby, come on, darling. Let me steal this moment from you now. Come on, angel, come on, darling. Let's exchange the experience. If only I could make a deal with God. If only I could make a deal with God. If only I could, I make a deal with God.
91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. That is a new music. You may have heard it a couple of weeks ago if you were tuned in. I had Donna Lewis in the studio. That's a collaboration her and David Barron did together. That's a Kate Bush cover called Running Up That Hill. Again, Donna Lewis, David Barron. Beautiful collaboration. The two of them are just brilliant musicians, composers, and artists. Getting us started, the top of the hour here, Lost Leaders, Promises, their latest release. We heard I Will Fulfill. And Peter Cole, Byron Isaacs are what comprises Lost Leaders. On this recording, they're also joined by Will Bryant on keyboards, mandolin, and vocals, along with Lee Falco on drums and backing vocals. This was recorded locally at Sun Mountain Studios in Boyceville by David Barron and at The Building in Marlborough by Brandon Morrison. So you're hearing a lot of David Barron's name here, and hopefully you'll hear a lot more because he'll be my guest next week. David Barron is a composer, a recording engineer, a producer, a musician. He is absolutely a brilliant talent. I don't use that word lightly. It doesn't come out of me every so often. David has been a guest here before. I look forward to talking to him again next week. He has worked with the Lumineers, Shawn Mendes, up-and-coming artist Jade Bird, all about that bass. He's got a platinum award with Meghan Trainor. This guy's amazing. And yes, he lives right here in the Hudson Valley, because that's what we do here on LocalMotion, talk about musicians of the Hudson Valley. And David Barron is one of the ones we can certainly be very, very proud of. So it is, what time is it? It is 5:09. More music, always more music. There were some people calling, but I couldn't pick up the phone simply because I needed to be on air here. So certainly feel free to call back. The number here at the station is 845-437-7178. Appreciate everybody tuning in during these times. And we just stay home, stay healthy and safe, and let's take a listen and make music be a healer for us all. Take a listen right now to new music by Chris O'Leary, 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie.
launching out of Memphis. I think I might just be able to face the truth. And then I come back home to you, baby. Back home to you. Give me 1,000 miles to drink, a couple hundred more to think about what I'm gonna tell you, about the lies I'm gonna sell you, about all the tragedies that befell me, and what the devil made me do. Oh yeah, baby. Give me a cup of 2 or 3 Percocets and a half an ounce of weed. I gotta get my mind frame set, all the things that you gonna need when I face the truth. When I come back home to you, give me 1,000 miles to drink, a couple hundred more to think about what I'm gonna tell you, about the lies I'm gonna sell you, all the tragedy that befell me, and what the devil made me do. Oh, when it comes to my heart, baby, now you hold the key, and you drag that key right down the side of my brand new Mercury. And you make me wish that I never ever been born. But I ain't in no hurry. The recollection's blurry. Hell hath no fury like a little woman scorned, baby. Put down that pistol, woman. I swear that I can't change. But I regret all the time we spent down at the firing range. And now revenge is sweet, woman. I swear forgiveness is divine. Just give me 3 steps, give me 3 steps, baby. I swear I'll be just fine. Give me 1,000 miles a day, a couple hundred more to think about what I'm gonna tell you, about all the lies I'm gonna sell you, about all the tragedy that befell me, what the devil made me do. Oh yeah.
If you could hear me now, if you could hear me somehow, if you could hear the words that I'm thinking about a world on fire, good thoughts lost in the mire, seems like no one's listening. If you could see me now, if you could see me somehow, if you could see the world where we're living, where the money's in charge and the black coal barge, and there's no more fish to be fishing. If you could hear me now, if you could hear me somehow, if you could hear what my soul is screaming, that we are one in the land of the sun, and there's no more fear of dreaming. If you could know me now, if you could know me somehow, if you could know the pain that I'm feeling, if you know my heart's being torn apart by the way good folks is treated, if you could see me now, if you could see me somehow, if you could see the things that I'm seeing, that the people win and prosper in the end, and leave something to believe in. If you could hear me now, if you could hear me somehow, if you could hear the thoughts that I'm spinning, the time is short by any report, and there's more to do than sing. If you could know me now, if you could know me somehow, if you could know the things that I'm reading, that peace is stalled without prosperity for all, let the flowers and the weeds in. If you can hear me now, if you hear me somehow, if you hear the words that I'm hoping, that we win a race against time and space, and the whole world is wide open.
91.3 WVKR, independent radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Brand new music, I think officially being released in May. It's by the Mammals. If You Could Hear Me Now. beautiful song. That's Ruthie Unger on vocals, her husband Mike Miranda on there as well. TheMammals.love is their website. They host 2 festivals every year, the Winter Hoot and the Summer Hoot. They're always held at the Ashokan Center in Olive Bridge, which is right outside of Woodstock. Beautiful, absolutely stunning property, and always so much fun. The Summer Hoot is typically the last weekend of August, so we will keep our fingers crossed that will happen, and we'll be able to go enjoy some live music at some point. We also heard Chris O'Leary. His latest release is called 7 Minutes Late, What the Devil Made Me Do. ChrisO'LearyBand.net is his website. He plays around, he comes around, and like I said, all venues are right now closed. Typically towards the end of the show here, I always do what's called musical happenings in alphabetical order. I list a whole bunch of different venues and who's performing. They're all closed, each and every one. There are some of them that are doing takeout because they're restaurants as well, such as the Town Crier in Beacon. You can call them and they have a wonderful menu, and you can do curbside pickup. I know many restaurants in the area are doing curbside pickup, and some are even doing cocktails pickups as well. So check out your favorite restaurant online and see if they're doing that, and maybe try to support them as well. We going to keep the music going here. It's 5:22, Local Motion here till 6 o'clock with you. I'm your host, Rita Ryan. Thank you again to Justin Guip, my guest during the 4 o'clock hour. If you missed part of that interview or all of it, you can check it out later. I'll be uploading it on Mixcloud.com as well as the Local Motion Facebook page. Right now, get up and dance. Whatever you're doing, if you're driving, obviously be smart. Don't do anything crazy. But if you're home listening, turn it up to 11 and let's get up and move. Simi Stone, 91.3 WVKR, Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie.
Think that I should know, but I think that I should not. You think that I might go, but I'm not leaving the spot. I never get your jokes